All right, guys, welcome back to the Daily Buzz. So how many of you at home have thought about picking up running as a habit? Or maybe you've started running, but it just seems too hard to maintain and you just get frustrated and give up. Well, hello, we've been there. I definitely have. So today we have an expert in-house who's going to help us get over the running hurdle. He is a two-time Olympic coach and author. So help us welcome Dr. Nicholas Romanov, who is joined by Severin Romanov. So great to have you.
Thank you to have us.
So this is a really important topic because, of course, we want to get healthy and we want to make sure that we're doing the proper form, of course, so we don't get injured. So the key to running is all in the form, right? Why do you say that?
Well, when we start running, just like any sport, we want to have optimal form when we do it. We don't want to come into any kind of form of exercise and treat it like, you know, let's just get as many reps as possible. But with running, we tend to do that. We buy running shoes and go and start with 2, 3, 4 miles at a time, and that could lead to overuse injuries.
Sure.
So we want to make sure we have the technique part first.
Okay, good to know. So tell us about the pose method then. What is that all about?
It's about 3 major elements
Okay.
which build up around pose. Pose, it's a body position, as you are right now.
Okay.
Only running has one single pose, which allows you to be more efficient than if you don't have a pose.
Got it. Okay, and of course we're gonna have an example of the proper running form in just a bit. But Severin, as CEO of Pose Method, you've worked with the U.S. Army as well as Olympic teams. So how have you helped them become better athletes and better runners?
So with the U.S. Army, running is mission critical. You have drill sergeants, you have recruits that are going through basic training, and they're sustaining injuries at an alarming rate.
Wow.
You're talking about $300 million a year in lost duty time that came from an internal study. So with them, running is critical. So when you run with combat boots or whether it's just sneakers, you have a situation where they need to learn how to run. And so when we implemented that in 2008, we've had instances where we had changes in runners 2, 3, 4 minutes faster a week after picking it up, and minimizing injuries all over the TRADOC posts in the U.S.
That's incredible. Now, speaking of injuries, how would you say injuries have really impacted our military since they're not using proper form?
Well, that's to the tune of $300 million a year. So that's what internal studies have been showing, is that runners are getting injured, and if you're forced to run and you don't do it with correct form, that's going to lead to problems, and that's costing us a lot of lost duty time.
Now, what about the average person running? What are some of your top tips for them to kind of make sure that they're doing it right?
Well, obviously, you start with a shoe that fits comfortably.
Okay.
But beyond that,
advice.
you want to implement technique like with anything. So when you start with technique, what's important? Well, that's to have the right elements. You don't want to do too much. You want to do things that are going to be efficient. You want to start with the key position, the running pose, which we'll show in just a moment.
Okay.
You want to fall forward as you're running, and you want to pull the foot from the ground. Anything you do on top of that is going to lead to injuries. And that's what we end up showing people, is that if you focus too much on striding out or lengthening your stride, you're going to get injured, and that's going to be putting extra stress on your ligaments, tendons, and obviously your joints.
Absolutely. So Victoria, we're going to bring on Victoria. So she's going to demonstrate with your help. Give us some top tips on how to have that good form.
All right. The first thing is how you start running, right?
Work it, girl.
No, this is what it's the usual thing, you know, because.
Sure.
But actually, it's much more simple.
Okay.
You have to be in a position which allows you to fall forward. Yeah, but you see, you're immediately doing the wrong thing. You're building counterbalance. You cannot fall from this. You have to be in the position to make your fall easiest way.
So it's
one
all
leg,
in the stance,
this,
sure.
yes, right. We will. You see, we're coming, and knees bend, foot is here. You see, you are in this position, right? It's a pose from which you are falling. It's only one single pose.